Thank you. Okay, everybody, thank you for coming today. This is the August 25th, 2020 meeting of the Town of Islip Zoning Board of Appeals. And I will read the public notice and then we'll begin calling applications. Notice is hereby given that due to the novel coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, and recent executive orders issued by the governor, the Town of Islip Zoning Board of Appeals hearing scheduled for Tuesday, August 25th, 2020 at 6 p.m. will be held electronically via Zoom webinar instead of an in-person public hearing. It will be streamed live over the internet. Anyone interested in providing comments to the zoning board on an agenda item is encouraged to do so prior to the date of the meeting. Of course, we will hear your comments tonight as well. All right, dated August 19th, 2020, John M. Lorenzo, Chairman. Our first application tonight, number 482-20, Herdy and Carol Ann Hurt. Permission to leave second story addition 11 feet by 22 feet, having a side yard of 10.7 feet instead of the required 14 feet. Residence B District, southwest corner of Pilgrim Road, number 2, and Crooked Hill Road, Brentwood, New York. Is anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Passaro?
Hello?
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks.
Counsel, yeah, your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Charles Broody, architect, 30 Bethesda Lane, Sayville, New York, representing the property owner.
All right, Mr. Broody, your presentation, please.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to make a change on the call. They had the side yard dimension incorrect. I think it was written up at 10.7, but if you look at the survey, it's actually 10.07.
That seems to be correct. Okay, I'll make a motion to amend the call of the meeting to reflect a side yard of 10.07 feet instead of the 10.7 feet listed in our advertisement. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, Mr. Broody, your amendment has been granted. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So as stated in the call, homeowner seeks permission to maintain the side yard setback of 10.07 feet instead of the required 14. This application was in front of you in 2017, which we had approval for the 10.25 side yard setback. What had happened is that the contractor framer decided to take the roof line and go further towards the front of the property. And this is where we are today, requiring the 10.07 setback.
So you're about 0.18 feet short, right?
Correct.
Okay. Planning, you wish to be heard on this application?
No objections. There's a precedent for a side yard of 9.55.
All righty. Any questions from the board? Anyone in the audience wish to be heard? Ms. Passaro, is there anyone there?
No, there's nobody who wants to be heard on this one.
Thank you. That being said, Mr. Nicole, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to grant the application.
All
Second.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you, sir. Have a good
Thank you
night.
very much.
All right, our second application is number 483-20, June M. Lopez, permission to erect one-story addition 12 feet by 30 feet, leaving a floor area ratio of 32% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, west side of Carl Drive, number 1056, 375 feet north of Runyon Street, Bay Shore, New York. Is anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Passaro?
Yes, Charlie is here on this one as well.
All right.
Hello again. I'm back.
All right. Name and address again for the record, please.
Charles Broody, architect, 30 Bethesda Lane, Sayville, New York, 11782.
Okay, Mr. Broody, what have you to say?
Okay, as stated in the call, homeowner seeks permission to construct a 12 by 30 rear one-story addition with a 32% FAR coverage instead of the permitted 30. 25, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you wish it was 30. Huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Fire Island, sorry.
All right. So, I'll ask the question for my colleagues as well. Generally speaking, 30% is usually our tolerance. What is so exceptional about this application that we should go beyond the 30%?
Well, I was in touch with Deirdre on this, and there are several precedents.
All right, so
and
then let's
30
hear from Ms. Ryan. Ms.
and
Ryan?
32 seem to be the good number.
He's correct. There's a few precedent. There's a precedent for 33.7, 37.3, 31.8. So no
All right.
objections to this.
All right, then the board have any questions? And anyone in the audience wish to be heard?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion, Mr. Nicolia.
Motion to grant the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, application granted. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Next
much. Have a
applic-
good night.
You too. Number 484-20 AMVETS American Legion Post 1738, permission to install an ADA lift, leaving a rear yard of 14.66 feet instead of the required 25 feet. Residence B District, southwest corner of Union Boulevard, number 340, and Chestnut Street West. Islip, is there anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pissarro?
Yes.
And who might that be? Don't keep us in suspense, please.
Alyssa Solar Sinatra.
All right. Address, please.
Sure. From Germano and Cahill, 4250 Veterans Highway, Suite 275, Holbrook, New York, for West Islip American Legion, post number 1738, located at 340 Union Boulevard, West Islip.
Thank you. Please present your application, Counselor.
Sure. First, I would also ask whether we should amend the call to reflect that my client's name is American Legion Post 1738. I believe the notice had AMVETS included first.
Yes, that's correct. We mistakenly were rushing the application to get it on for this calendar date because this variance was a little bit of a surprise after they had already obtained their planning board buffer relaxation. And I was loosely referring to the different fraternal organizations and called it too many. So it's the call needs to be amended to remove the reference to the AMVETS.
All right, so I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's hope you're successful on your main application as you were on that. Go right ahead.
Thank you. There was also one more issue in the call. Maybe minor. I
Oh,
know.
you only get one. I'm
We're off to
sorry.
a good start. No, it is asking for a setback of 14 feet 66 inches, and in accordance with the site plan, it's 14 feet 8 inches.
Well, those are the same.
Okay,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
Okay, all right.
I'll begin.
14.66. Okay, I got you. Okay.
okay,
So now, can we get to your application, please?
yes.
All right, thank you.
The applicant seeks permissions to install an Americans with Disabilities Act compliant wheelchair lift, leaving a rear yard of 14 feet 8 inches instead of the required 25 feet in a residential B district, to provide individuals, including members and guests, access to the lower floor of the building.
Counselor, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
Perhaps we can cut to the chase.
Sure.
So was this on the proposed site plan that went in front of the planning board and or town board?
yes, this went
And that
before.
was part of the plan that was approved by them, correct?
Correct,
Okay, and this is for ADA compliance?
correct.
All right, does anyone on the board have any other questions? Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard? Hearing none, Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone signed up to speak on this application?
No, Alyssa, not unless one of the members wants to speak.
What members?
The members of the American Legion.
I don't, well, you can do so, but you do so at your own peril. So,
I don't think they're here in the attendee
There
panel. They're
you
probably
go.
watching
All
on
right.
the live stream.
Mr. Wexler, I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Fake Chairman. I'll make a motion that we grant the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Congratulations, Counselor. Application granted. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
All right. Next application, number 485-20, Darling Midranda and Oscar A. Murcia Diaz, permission to leave two sheds, shed number 1 having a rear yard of 1 foot and a side yard of 1.5 feet, shed number 2 having a side yard of 0.7 feet instead of the required 2 feet each, to leave a patio on the side property line and driveway having a side yard of 1 foot instead of the required 4 feet each, and to leave entrance platform 9 feet by 20 feet having a front yard of 18.4 feet instead of permitted encroachment setback of 20 feet. Residence B District, north side of Pennsylvania Avenue, number 145, 300 feet west of Ohio Avenue, Bay Shore, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is anyone here for the applicant?
He's not here. He's not in the attendee panel and he didn't register. I emailed him earlier.
Is
And
there
ask him-
anyone here on
No,
this
neither the
application?
expediter nor his client.
Okay,
and-
so we'll second call that.
Yep.
Next application, number 486-20, Michael and Robin Benson, permission to construct a detached garage 22 feet by 22 feet, leaving a side yard of 2 feet instead of required 4 feet. Residence A District, east side of Sherry Street, number 235, 98.94 feet south of Wensley Lane, East Islip. Is there anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pissarro?
Yes.
Who might that be?
Robin Bonson.
Okay, so the
I-
applicant herself, right?
Can you see me? Hi.
I can.
Hi.
Good
Hi, Robin.
evening.
Hi, good evening.
All right, ma'am. Would you, is anything you have to tell us about your application other than what was in the call? Anything you'd like to say to us?
Just that our property is an odd shape, which is why we're asking for the relief of the 2-foot setback. We'll meet
Not
the,
so odd, really.
it's wider in the back than it is in the front.
Okay. All right, anyone, I'm sorry, planning, do you wish to be heard on this application?
There's precedent, so no objections.
Okay, anyone from the board wish to be, have any questions, rather?
Nope.
All right, Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone who wishes to be heard in the audience?
No, there isn't.
Okay, so very good. Mr. Wexler, entertain a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we grant the application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Congratulations, ma'am. Application granted.
Thank you very much.
Hi,
Have a
Robin.
wonderful evening.
You too.
Next application number 487-20, Katie Ann and Mary Ann G. Burka. Permission to leave in-ground pool having a rear yard of 9.15 feet instead of the required 10 feet. Residence B District, west side of Bayway Avenue, number 101, 135.73 feet northwest of Mackenzie Court, Bay Shore, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here for the applicant?
Yes, the applicant is here and counsel.
Okay, so let's hear from counsel. Counsel, name and address for the record, please.
Stephen Cacciola of Stephen J. Cacciola, PC, 85 West Main Street, Suite 201, Bay Shore, New York.
All right, and with you, ma'am, if you'd like to put your appearance on the record. I know you're also an attorney, or I'm told that.
Yes, Katie Ann Burka,
Okay.
petitioner.
Okay, so why don't you tell us why we should grant this outrageous request for relief? I'm only kidding. Planning, do you wish, anything you want to tell us on this application?
No objections.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Anyone in the audience signed up for this application, Ms. Pissarro?
No.
All right, there being no one in the audience signed up to be heard, Mr. Nicolia, entertain a motion.
A motion to grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Application granted. Have a great night, counselors.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
should, Ms. Burke, you should thank your counsel for doing an outstanding job. Best presentation of the night. All right, next application adjourned from June 9th, 2020 is Giovanni Cupo. Permission to erect a one-story addition, 21.6 feet by 24 feet, resulting in a new structure, leaving a front yard of 7.75 feet instead of the required 25 feet, and second front yard of 3.8 feet instead of the required 15 feet. Residence B District, northwest corner of Central Islip Boulevard, number 359 and West 3rd Street, unopened, in Ronkonkoma, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is anyone here for the applicant?
Yes, Mr. Cupo, you're just going to have to unmute yourself.
Mr. Cupo, if you don't unmute yourself, we can't hear you. If we can't hear you, we can't possibly entertain your application.
There he is.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay.
So, anything you want to tell us about your application?
Well, it's what I talk with it is I measure on a short corner is 39 feet and change. I want to go 4 feet out, but now we decide to make it even or even 1 foot in that we have more frontage. And we built this thing because it's a year and a half, 3 walls, and there's such a big things going on. Any which way,
Okay.
I would like to build, you tell me, either flush?
Yeah,
or
we don't
in?
tell you how to build things. You make that decision. Okay, planning, do you wish to be heard on this application?
When I spoke to Mr. Cupo, we discussed, correct me if I'm wrong though, but I believe that we discussed that he was moving it in 4 feet. If he moved it in 4 feet, very roughly, I think it would create, the closest corner would be 15 feet from the front yard. Because of the angle.
Instead of the 7.75 feet?
Correct. And then where it connects with the house, that would then be 25 feet, maybe 25 feet and change. So that's more so what I'd be more comfortable with and I'd recommend.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this straight. Based on your recommendation, the front yard would be how many feet?
At the corner, it'd be 15 feet.
Okay. And the second front yard would be how many feet?
Well, the second front yard for the,
That'd still be 3.8?
right, but that's an unopened,
Open street, I understand, that's fine. So that's his 2 requests for variance relief, and that's how they would be affected by moving the proposed structure, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone on
Vinny-
the board have any questions?
Yes, Vinny, I do. Just, I couldn't quite understand Deidre. If the proposed structure is moved, I guess that would be north. What would the distance be from the line? I guess that would be the corner of the house on the western side where it now measures 7.75. What would that be?
15 feet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Ms. Pissarro, is anyone signed up to be heard on this application?
Nobody else has signed up. Are we amending the call to a front yard
No,
setback?
we're not amending the call. We might,
Okay.
there might be a motion on granting the relief.
Okay.
Mr. Sullivan, care to do the honors?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I move to grant the application, leaving a front yard of 15 feet instead of the required 25 feet, and grant the remainder of the application as written in the call.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? None. Congratulations, Mr. Cupo. Your application has been granted as amended.
Gentlemen.
Next application,
Thank
number,
you so much.
you're welcome very much. Next application, number 488-20, Eric and Mary Schatz. Permission to leave driveway having a side yard of 3 feet and patio on side property line, not having a required setback of 4 feet each. Residence AA District, east side of Somerset Drive, number 9, 435.06 feet north of Patrick Holbrook Road, Holbrook. Ms. Pissarro, is anyone here for the applicant?
They're here.
The applicants themselves?
Yes.
There they are. Hi, you have to, I don't know, we can't hear you.
Oh, is that
There
better?
you
Now-
go, that's better. That was good.
My kids know Zoom. I don't know Zoom.
Well, you'll learn.
Yeah.
All right. Name and address for the record for both of you, please.
Eric and Mary Schatz, 9 Somerset Drive, Holbrook.
Very good. Okay, we have your driveway for 3 feet and not having, and driveway of having a side yard of 3 feet, and your patio is right on the property line, huh?
No, actually the patio's not. It runs-
That's what this says here now.
Yeah, I see that on the.
I think it's at the one point where the curvilinear part is congruous with the line.
Look at you
Those are a lot
using
of
the
big
big
words,
words.
Mary.
How about that?
Congruous and curvilinear.
You all did
Wow.
better.
What
on-
about delicatessen?
You all did better on the verbal. I did better on the math.
All right, so it's just that small part. Okay, Ms. Ryan, do you have anything to add to the conversation?
No objections.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? There being none, I don't know, Mr. Wexler, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, sir. I'll make a motion that we grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, congratulations, folks. Application granted, Zoom or no Zoom.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Next application, number 438-20, Justin and Denise Feremi. Permission to leave patio having a side yard of 1 foot instead of the required 4 feet, Residence B District, north side of Joseph Street, number 73, 445.14 feet west of Lincoln Avenue, Sayville, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is anyone here for the applicant?
They're here.
All right, Ms. Feremi, I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Hi, I wasn't
There
saying
you go.
anything.
That was good. You got it. All right. Is there anything you wish to tell us about your application?
No, just what's on the record.
Okay. Any questions from the board? I'm sorry, Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard?
No objections.
All right, any questions from the board?
I think there's another presence to note.
Okay, we will in a minute. Is there anyone in the audience signed up, Ms. Pissarro?
No.
All right, ma'am, do you want to put the, for the record, the appearance of this other?
Sure. This is Adriana Feremi, and I'm Denise Feremi, and we
And you-
both live at 73 Joseph
Okay,
Street,
well, it's
Sayville.
important to get the muscle on the record. You know?
Yeah, the cute
All right,
one.
Mr. Sullivan, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Application granted. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
All right. Next application number 489-20, Mark Fritz Polacek. Permission to leave elevated dwelling having a first floor elevation of 14.39 feet instead of the permitted 9 feet. Residence AA District, west side of Tranquil Court, number 8, 299.08 feet south of Salt Meadow Court, Bayport, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here for the applicant?
There is
Who might that be?
Eric Russo. Eric, you just have to unmute yourself and start your video.
Here you go.
Now,
Okay,
Eric?
Mr. Russo, just let's note for the record that if anyone has any complaints about you or your presentation tonight, it was Ms. Pissarro who told you to unmute yourself. All right, that having been said, Mr. Russo, the floor is yours, sir.
Eric, before you start, I just want to let you know, I know that your client registered, but I don't see him in the attendee panel. So-
He's sitting to my left about
terrific.
social distance away.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Eric Russo, Van Brunt, Jesuit, and Russo, offices at 140 Main Street, Sayville, New York, on behalf of the applicant, Mark Polacek of 8 Tranquil Court in Bayport. The applicant is here tonight. Its property is zoned AA Residence District. The issue here before you is the fact that the dwelling, which is elevated, has a first floor elevation of 14.39 instead of a permitted 9 feet. There's been no prior application to this board, and I have reviewed the sections of the zoning code as it relates to 68, 438, 439, and 443. As it relates to lower level definitions, the entire lower level in this particular case is proposed as storage and for a 2-car garage, with the plans that have been reviewed by the building division or building department by Mr. Burgos and also Mr. Bernardi. I believe Mary has received a revision in the notes showing exactly that notation, because they re-looked at the building plans and were familiar with the property. The entry area is in the front of the building, as shown on the plans, and it is pursuant to the town code. It's a flood-resistant entryway of 104 square feet, and it allows them to get to the first floor. There was a CO that was issued for this residence in 1975 as a one-family, one-story dwelling. Even though it says 2, the applicant, who is sitting to my left, has confirmed that it has always been a one-story dwelling. The reason that he
Is it 2 because of the lift? Is that what they're saying?
I'm not quite sure why, because I noticed it in the CO that the CO says a 2-story dwelling, and it's not the case.
Okay.
And if you look at the residence, and I was in the residence myself last week, took photos of the storage level and also of the residence, it always was a single-family residence that was lifted.
Do we have any photographs, Mr. Russo?
There are, Ms. Pissarro. I believe I've provided you a total in terms of photographs.
Yeah,
of
okay,
35
here we go.
34 of the residents.
That looks like a full first floor to me.
Well, the permission was originally granted by a building permit on May 7th of 20 for the property, and it was allowed in May 7th of 19, where the flood zone in this area is AE5, which starts.
I'm not arguing any of that. What I'm saying is it appears as if there's livable space on the
There
what's
is no
called-
livable space when you look at the building plans.
So I
It's,
understand to the right, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. You're looking at the same photograph I am right now, right?
I see
To
that,
the right is a garage. I get that.
Correct.
What's between the garage and the entranceway and from the entranceway to the left on the photo?
to the right is the garage, the rest of it's all storage. It's the entire footprint of the foundation.
Is there
Well-
heat down there?
There's no heat proposed, there's no plumbing proposed in there. The
I see.
plumbing is just running under the first floor.
I see.
Mr. Russo, we're going to need a little more than just, I mean, we're looking at the picture and it looks like
Yes.
every single two-floor home I've ever seen. You're telling us that's all storage. Okay.
Yes,
We're
it
going to
is.
we're going to need something more than just the applicant say so, because our eyes don't lie.
Mr. Wexler, if Mary
That's
wants
me.
to show you, I gave a series of 34 photographs. And of the 34 photographs, 10 are the exterior, 10 are of the interior. I went
Okay.
inside the residence myself. This is showing you the other side of the house. The
The
front
back
entryway
part,
is on the bottom level there at the front. And
Okay.
that,
Mr. Russo, it's just one of the shortcomings of a Zoom hearing where you can't hand up photos, you know? I mean, we have them here, we'll look through them. But I think really that Mr. Wexler's point is well taken. We've been very cautious about things like this.
Mhm.
And probably the most likely, what I would ask the board to consider is to reserve decision. We will circulate these photos and then quickly, render you a decision well within the 62 days. But I think that's probably the better way and the more fair way, frankly, to your client for us to consider
that's
this.
fine, but the photographs that I'm providing you with, your building
Yeah,
inspector.
I see. I just want everyone to be able to look at them and be satisfied. And
I
I
have
know
no
you did your
objection to that.
usual thorough job, so.
Just so you know, when you're looking at the code requirements of 68-443, all of the factors that are there are to be considered and are validated. Mr. Polachek, who is sitting with me, was here at the residence during Superstorm Sandy. Superstorm Sandy. And at that time, he couldn't get into the residence. His brother was trapped in the attic. He now presently owns the house as a result of the passing of his mother, father, and brother. He's the sole owner of the residence. And the water was up to his shoulders, and it was about 6 feet up because he's 6'6". And they weren't allowed, he couldn't get into the residence. Our concern is storm surges like the one that is happening probably tomorrow down in Hurricane Laura. If the storm surges with a Hurricane Type 3 came into this location, you'd have 7 to 11 foot tidal surges. I recognize you've had concerns. You've had probably about 9 other cases that have come before you. I've spoken with Deirdre, and she indicated, and Mary has also indicated, your last decision was Sparks, where you approved 12.9, I believe, or 12.8 in that decision on June 29th. This is
A little bit different facts, but
0.39, a foot 0.6, a little bit higher. But if you look at the photos of the houses in the area and the one to the immediate south, the pitch and the grade runs down onto this property. And that application before you, which is number 40, has already been before you, and the house is higher. The applicant's willing to condition that there would never be another story added. It would be within 35 feet or 2.5 stories pursuant to Residence AA section of the code. And if the board wanted to see plantings to make it look more natural all around the foundation area, he'd be happy to do it.
Mr. Russo, how do we ensure, because we do look at these very closely, how do we ensure that this will not become livable space?
If you wanted
tool? I'm sorry, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'd be happy. The applicant is willing to place a covenant and restriction if that's something the board wanted to consider. The ceiling height below is only, I believe, 8.5 lower, 7 feet. So it's not the proper ceiling height.
and you have no heating and cooling down there.
There's no
right?
heating and cooling. There's no plumbing in the lower level.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
And
All right.
just so you know, there were 52 helico piles placed in the ground in order to allow the elevation of the house and pour this concrete foundation because the ground was sinking. And it was a very severe issue of flooding in the area. I mean, the water is right up with the land level at the present time, given the current lunar moons, et cetera, going on in the tropical storm issue that's currently pending.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Russo. Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard on this?
Yes, I recommend reserve, mostly because I think there's a lot that needs to be looked at.
Right, a lot to unpack, right?
Base flood elevation's 5, they're allowed up to 9, and then he wants 5 more, so that seems a little bit too much above what we've, like he said, what we've granted in the past. I'm also just more concerned as well because there's doors that are on this level that's supposed to be unfinished, and that kind of makes me worry a bit. Like the picture on the screen, this is leading up to the backyard of the property.
Sure.
I don't
Those
know.
are the types of things we can address through covenants or conditions. So, all right, take your time, take a close look at it while we are on reserve, although be cognizant of the fact that it is our intention to turn this around as quick as we can, okay?
One, if I can, Mr. Chairman, one
Of course.
question, Deidre. What have we allowed in the past?
I haven't checked all of the town, but mostly from what I've seen, I think it's been between 12 and 13 at most. I don't even think 13 was granted. I think 12 point something was granted, things like that.
12.8 was the Sparks decision on June 29th of this
Thank
year.
you.
Right. Well,
The ones that have been,
one of the things that I think we'll have to discuss when we reserve is how do we say no to others that want to go to 14.39?
You're concerned about the precedent, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
my concern.
there is
And
a 15.16 that was granted, but that was because it was for an elevator.
Right.
That's more for a different reason. I don't think on the plans that there was any elevator for this house.
There is no elevator proposed.
Okay. All right then.
And there were a total of 6 neighbors who sent in letters of support. Mary has them. I have 3 here, and I've already provided her with the other 3.
Okay.
So I will forward them on to Ms. Pissarro.
Thank you, Mr. Russo.
Okay.
Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone from the, I'm sorry, does anyone else from the board have any questions? There being none, Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this application from the audience?
There's nobody in the attendee panel who wants to be heard.
All right, thank you so very much. That having been said, Mr. Sullivan, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Vice Chairman, I'll make an application that we reserve decision.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, decision reserved. Mr. Russo, as we said to you, we will endeavor to get this done as quickly as we can.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for your information, and we provided it, there is a building permit, there is construction going on based on the building permit that the building department did allow to proceed.
Okay, as long as, that's the building department's issue as to whether or not you're acting in compliance with that. We are not an enforcement body, but thank you.
Have a good evening. Thank you very
too.
much.
Next application, number 490-20, Nature's Bounty, Inc., permission to leave second-story office 2,555 square feet, resulting in a floor area ratio of 36.74% instead of the permitted 35%, Industrial 1 District, west side of Orville Drive, number 90, 545.27 feet south of Wilbur Place, Bohemia. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here to be heard on this application?
Yes, there is.
Who might that be? Don't keep us guessing.
We won't keep you guessing.
I was talking to Ms. Pissarro. I'm sorry.
Nancy Shores, Vice President, Deputy General Counsel at Nature's Bounty, and also Anthony Garrett, our architect, is also on the line.
Okay, fantastic. Is there anything you want us to know about your application?
Yes, we're seeking permission to maintain a second-story office that was actually plans submitted, approved, and built.
You're here for an FAR variance of 1.74%. Is there a lot you want to say on that?
Not if there's not a lot I need to say.
Okay. Does Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard?
There's precedent, so no objections.
Okay, and does anyone on the board have any questions?
Nope.
Is anyone signed up to speak, Ms. Pissarro?
No.
All right. That being said, I'll entertain a motion, Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to grant the application.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? None. Application granted. Congratulations, council.
Thank you. Good health to you all.
Same to you.
Take care.
Next application number 491-20, Michael and Michelina Sundberg. Permission to leave above ground pool having a side yard of 7.4 feet and a rear yard of 7.8 feet and a pool deck having a side yard of 8.8 feet instead of the required 10 feet each. Residence B District, south side of East Madison Street, number 4, 350 feet west of Division Avenue, East Islip, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here for the applicant?
They're here.
The applicants themselves?
Yes.
All right, speak up, name and address for the record, please.
Michael Sundberg, 4 East Madison Street, East Islip.
And who's that with you?
My wife, Michelina.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced your name, ma'am.
It's okay.
All right. That having been said, is there anything you wish to tell us about your application?
No, I think it's kind of spelled out.
Okay, very good. Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard?
It seems minimal, 7.4, 7.8, and 8.8 instead of 10, so no objections if it's life of the pool or something along those lines.
Okay. Do you understand, Mr. Sundberg and Ms. Sundberg, what Ms. Ryan is saying? So that you've applied here, you've already put up the pool. So you're asking for forgiveness rather than permission, right?
Correct.
So usually we frown upon such conduct. However, Ms. Ryan from the planning department is indicating that they might support it if you're willing to agree that when this pool runs its natural course and has to be replaced, you will no longer have the variance and you have to put the next one in a conforming location or come back for new relief.
No problem.
Okay? All right, I didn't think so. Anyone from the board have any questions? There being no one, Ms. Pissarro, has anyone signed up to be heard on this application?
No.
All right, there's no one. Mr. Wexler, entertain an application, please.
Thank you. Motion to grant the application for the life of the pool.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
None. Application granted. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next application is number 492-20, Scott R. With and Marie Spano. Permission to erect a second-story deck, non-permeable, resulting in a floor area ratio of 29% instead of permitted 25. Residence B District, north side of South Wantagh Avenue, number 23, 237.77 feet west of Park Place, East Islip. Is there anyone here for the applicant?
Yes, we are, sir.
And who might that be? I hear the voice and I don't see the face.
Scott With and Marie Spano, homeowners.
Ms. Spano, are you related to Dolores Spano?
I am not.
Okay, that's good,
I'm-
because I don't have to recuse myself. Okay, anything you'd like to tell us about your application?
No, sir. Self-explanatory.
All right, your deck meets all the setback requirements, right? It's just the FAR that you need?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Ms. Ryan, you wish to be heard?
No objections.
Okay, anyone, questions from the board? No questions from the board. Ms. Pissarro, has anyone signed up to speak on this application?
Nobody has signed up, but I'll admit there was some curiosity about how the deck becomes non-permeable. If you could just explain that briefly.
It's no more than a rubber membrane above the floorboards in between the joists and the floorboards so that the water can run off. And then we'll have outdoor furniture that's not getting soaking wet, couch cushion. Yeah, cushions on it. That's all.
The outdoor furniture beneath the deck.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. It's the first time we've seen that language in the call of the
Yeah,
meeting. So
that's
thank you.
right. That's true.
Where does the water go? Is it at an angle so it doesn't pool up?
It
Yes.
does. It's pitched. I think it's 2 inches every 10 feet or something like that.
All right, cool.
Engineering. All right.
Thank you.
There being no one who wishes to be heard, Mr. Wexler, I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make a motion that we grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Congratulations, application granted. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Best reaction of the night. All right, next application, number 493-20, Larry and Amy Halleck. Permission to leave detached detached garage, 16.1 feet by 41.1 feet, and to erect a one-story addition, both having building height of 16 feet instead of permitted 14 feet, and not having a required 20 feet behind the front line of the dwelling. Residence AAA District, west side of South Connecticut Avenue, number 122, 269.9 feet south of South Street, Bay Shore, New York. Is there anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pissarro?
He was here earlier. This case is represented by Christopher Eng, the architect. And I wonder if he lost his connection because now I don't see him in the attendee panel.
Okay, we'll second call this.
He's on the next two cases. So I will email him now and help him get back in. So if you could go down.
All right, we'll then address adjourn from July 28th, 2020, application number 433-20, Richard C. and Dawn M. Antonick. Permission to erect a one-story addition, 12 feet by 20 feet, leaving a side yard of 12.3 feet instead of the required 25 feet, and total side yards of 26.58 feet instead of the required 60 feet. Residence AAA District, south side of Linda Lane, number 8, 441.25 feet west of Wheeler Road, Central Islip. Is there anyone here for the applicant?
There she is.
Yes, hello.
Okay.
Christina Bravin, Morano Expediting, 28 Edward Street, Bethpage, New York.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about your application?
We're requesting permission to construct a non-heated 12 by 20 sunroom addition to replace the one that's been there since the Antonicks took ownership in 1986. It's in disrepair. We are requesting a 12-foot setback instead of the 25 feet. Total side yards would be 26.58, so the required 60 feet. The
That's a pretty
sunroom will go on the east
pretty
side.
big ask, don't you think?
Well, the sunroom will go on the
Less
east
than
side.
half.
It is less than half, but on the west side, the house is actually holding 14.55 feet. So it's built as if it was a residence zone B or an A, which allows for a minimum side yard of 14 feet. They don't comply in that area. So we feel it's in keeping to the neighborhood.
Okay. Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard on that point?
Yes, I just wanted to point out that, so this is a survey, but if you look at the aerial, this whole entire road is a lot of small houses on very small lots. And it's just this whole neighborhood was kind of, just has I think it's AAA that they said onto the area.
Yep.
But there are a lot of side yard reliefs. The closest that I got though was 12.5. So if they'd be willing to match that, then I think that'd be fine. But there's side yards for 14, for 15, 13, 12. So.
Right. I mean, 6 inches. Okay. It'd be as it may. Mr. Wexler, I think you had a question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that question. What does the neighborhood look like? So if 12.5 is the greatest variance granted?
It is.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, ma'am. I cut you off from your presentation. I just wanted to get that point clarified. Is there anything else you wish to add?
No, that's it. Thank
Okay,
you.
Fabulous. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none. Ms. Pissarro, is anyone signed up to speak from the audience?
No.
All right. Mr. Wexler, care to make a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we deny the application, however, grant the variance at 12.5 or pardon me. Yeah, 12.5 feet instead of 25.
All right. All in
And what
favor?
about total side yards?
Total side yards remain, well, as modified.
Right, as
Okay,
modified
okay,
by.
good.
Thank you, though.
We have it. There's good catch, Mr. Nicolia. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr.
That's why I
Sullivan,
get the big bucks.
Mr. Sullivan seconded. All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right. Thank you. Application granted as modified.
Thank
Ms. Pissarro, oh, you're very welcome. Is Mr. Eng back on or not?
Yes, he has arrived.
All right, Mr. Eng, I'll recall application number 493-20, Larry and Amy Halleck. Please feel free to make your presentations. Put your name and address on the record and make your presentation, sir.
Christopher Eng, 93 Main Street, West Sayville, New York. On this property, we're actually we're going to maintain the existing garage. and add on to the, what I consider the front of the garage towards the house. With that, the existing garage is about 16 feet high, so we'd like to maintain that 16 feet high on the new part of the garage. This is, we're actually trying to raise the slab in the existing garage so that, you know, we kind of keep it above the water as much as possible.
All right, and you're not going to have an impact on neighbors since you have a canal right there, right?
No.
All right. Very good. Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard?
Just to reiterate what Mr. Eng said, this is the existing garage. I believe it's been there at least since 2001. And on the survey, you can't see it, but on the aerial, you can see that the garage is all the way back here. So really the only people that would see it are maybe across the canal, but it's right now being blocked by the neighbor in front of them. So I don't think it would be a huge impact on the neighborhood. And I think, like he mentioned, it's actually being raised. So it's not that it's on the ground at 16 feet. It's just they need to raise it out of the flood.
Understood. Okay, board have any questions? There being none, Ms. Pissarro, does anyone signed up to be heard on this application?
No.
All right, that being the case, Mr. Wexler, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Application granted. All right, next application number 494-20, David A. Gabay, permission to erect a one-story addition leaving a side yard of 12 feet instead of the required 18 feet and to use a dwelling for a two-family family use only as per Islip Town Code Section 68-419.1. Residence AA District, south side of 8th Street, number 560, 120 feet east of Washington Avenue, Bohemian, New York. Mr. Eng, my understanding is you're the representative on this application as well.
Can we let the record reflect that I'm going to recuse myself from consideration on this application?
All right, very good. Mr. Nicole is recusing himself. Mr. Eng, you now have to run the table and get all three of us. Go ahead, sir.
Christopher Ang, 93 Main Street, West Sayville, New York. This house, we're actually converting the existing garage and adding in a one-story addition to the west side of the house. And with that, we are encroaching on the side yard. That's a required 18 feet. We're asking for the board to reduce that side yard down to 12 feet. I don't feel that this is a drastic.
You're asking for 33% relief. Ms. Ryan, do you have anything to say about that?
There is actually precedent in the area. There's a side yard of 4 feet. There's a very strange one.
My, Mr. Eng, you're leaving tons of space in light of that precedent.
And there's another side yard of 8.6. So
All right, very good. Thank you. Any questions from the board on this application? There being none, Mr. Sullivan, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant the application.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Application granted. Thank you, Mr. Eng.
Thank you.
Next
Have a great
application
evening.
number
Hey,
4.
Chris,
Oh,
before
don't you have
leave,
one more?
Chris-
Yep.
No, the other Chris. I don't mean you, Chris Nicolia. Chris Nicolia. Chris Eng, did I lose you for a second, or did I lose you in the attendee panel?
No, I got dropped from the whole
okay.
thing. I don't know why.
Sorry about that. Yeah, all of a sudden it
I
disappeared,
signed
so-
back in and got back
Okay.
in.
Terrific.
All right.
Great.
Next
Thank you.
application number 495-20, James J. Verdone, permission to leave 6-foot fence having a front yard of 4 feet instead of the required 10 feet and shed not having 20 feet behind the front line of the dwelling, Residence A District, northeast corner of Lowell Road, number 99 and McNeil Street, Sayville. Anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pisano?
No, nobody here on this one that I can see. There's only one person whose name I don't recognize, and they have indicated they don't want to speak.
Okay, very good. So then that will be second call, I suppose. And then we'll mark it off calendar. Next application adjourned from July 21st, 2020, Joseph Bongiorno III. Permission to erect a dwelling on a lot having a width of 100 feet instead of the required 150 feet throughout, lot area of 19,747 square feet instead of the required 40,000 square feet, leaving side yards of 15.1 feet instead of required 25 feet each, total side yards of 30.2 feet instead of the required 60 feet, and floor area ratio of 27.1% instead of permitted 25%. Residence AAA District, west side of West Lane, 842.85 feet north of Okanee Walk, Bay Shore, New York. Is anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pissarro?
Yes.
Who might that be?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Raymond Justo, 715 South Country Road, West Bay Shore, New York, for the applicant.
All right, welcome, Mr. Justo. What have you to say?
First and foremost, we had submitted a letter on August 3rd, 2020 to the board indicating that we were modifying the application to decrease basically the deviation from the code. The side yard setbacks that we now propose are 15.1 feet on both sides, which will also result in a reduction in FAR to 27.1%.
Okay, very good. I remember this application from July 21st. Anything else you'd like? Well, first, why don't we make a motion to, well, we adjourned it, so the record's incorporated into this hearing. That's fine. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Mr. Justo?
Yes, in that letter I sent, I also provided with the with this board a copy of a decision that was rendered in April of 2003 with respect to another parcel of property located within the Okanee Association. That parcel was smaller than our parcel by 4,747 square feet. It has a street width of 75 compared to the 100 that we have. And it also has side yards of 15.1 feet, which we have, and 27.1% in FAR. And I referenced in the letter the discussion that the zoning board had with respect to this particular area. And I don't know if you want me to read it again. It's part of the record.
It's in the record already. That's fine.
Yes, so
If I can acquire the precedent that you are citing, is that within 500 feet radius of the proposed? That's what we go by, not the whole Okanee Association.
I do not believe it's within 500 feet.
Okay.
Ms. Ryan, do you want to educate us on anything?
There is precedent. There's side yards for 14.1, 12.9, and there's lot widths that were granted at 85 feet, at 75 feet, and same thing for the area, granted with area of 20,000, of 14.9 thousand. And you can look on the aerial and see that it is within the nature and character of the neighborhood. A lot of there's a few that aren't, but there's a lot to the north that are on similar lots or lots, and it seems like it would be an adverse impact.
Okay. Any other questions from the board at this time? There being none, Ms. Pissarro, has anyone signed up to speak on this application?
Ray, did your architect want to say anything? I'm asking him to start his video right now.
That's okay. We don't need to hear from the architect unless the board has questions.
So the call of the meeting then, Ray, you presented it that you had submitted an amendment, but I believe that I reflected it in the call.
It did, Ms. Pissarro. I checked.
Okay.
You were, as usual, right on the money.
And the plan that Deirdre, that you had up, and Mike, that was the plan, that was the second plan, right after the July 21st hearing?
The new plan with the 15.1, you can clearly see it on the survey.
Oh, you can? Well then.
On the plan that I have.
Your eyes are better than mine.
Only because I have reading glasses on.
Okay, just wanted to be sure that we had the call.
A complete record, absolutely. Okay, any other questions from the board? There being none, Mr. Wexler, I'll entertain.
Make a motion that we grant the application.
There a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Application granted, Mr. Justo. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.
All right, next application, number 496-20, Davis Pollock, trustee of the Davis Pollock Revocable Trust. Permission to leave in-ground pool having a side yard of 7.7 feet instead of the required 18 feet. Residence AAA District northeast corner, of West Lane, number 27, and Manatug Lane, Bay Shore, New York. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here for the applicant?
Yes, I left him in the panel.
And
yes, it's Michael Dunn. I'm here.
Ah, Mr. Dunn, how are you?
Hello,
Welcome.
good evening, everybody. Hope
Name and
everyone's
address for the record, and we'll be enraptured to
Michael
hear what you
Dunn,
have to say.
DUNN, 1981 Union Boulevard in Bay Shore, New York.
Okay, Mr. Dunn, it's a pretty big ask on the side yard, right?
We are, we're not going to go for precedent on this one. We're going for age. In speaking with Mr. Pollock, I was there for a fire repair job. There was a fire at the house back in December. And we tried to get permits for everything for the fire repair. And we found out there's no COs for the garage, the house, or the pool. So in the history of the whole project, we've come to find out that pool's been there since the 40s or 50s. We have proof from the aerials. I submitted a letter from Dan and zoning that the pool is shown on the aerials all the way back to 62.
And what was the required side yard in 62?
Then it was 18 as well.
Okay.
So how does that help you?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just gonna
well, that
ask that,
takes us
Mr.
to
Wexler.
62. We have letters from the neighbors from 58 that say the pool was there. So the zoning started in 61, and we have letters from the
Oh,
neighbors.
So you think you can predate that, right?
So we're predating 61, and we also have a letter from the neighbor who said he has no objections and is in support of the pool.
Okay.
So,
Mr.
Mr.
Sarah,
Dunn-
did you want to say something? I thought I heard you. Mr.
Mr.
Sarah?
Oh.
Me? No, I didn't say
Oh.
anything, but I'm just.
I apologize. Mr.
curious.
Nicolia, please. Go
Mr.
ahead.
Dunn, so is what you're saying is that this pool has been here for so long that it can't possibly have an adverse effect on the character and nature of the community because it is the character and nature of the community?
That's absolutely right. Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay. Mr. Wexler, you buy Mr. Nicolia? No, I'm only kidding. All right. Any other questions?
What I
from
would
the
have said.
board? I know, exactly. Me too, by the way.
My question is, do we have anything other than a letter to show how long it's there? Letters unsworn don't thrill me.
That's subject to cross, huh?
Well, Mr. Wexler, he's not making an application for a
For
non-conforming
non-conformity,
use.
that's right.
You know, so he is not required to provide the 3 affidavits.
I understand that. I mean, you can get a letter that says.
Mr.
yeah,
Wexler's
it's been
saying
there
he'd be
since
more
whatever.
comfortable with more letters or something
Or
else.
is there aerials? And I'm sure the pool was rebuilt a few times. I don't think it's the original pool.
I think what
Thank-
Mr. Dunn said is our building department indicates that there are aerials going back to at least 1962. Is that right, Mr. Dunn?
Yes, yeah, it's very obvious to 62.
So our own town personnel have kind of confirmed that there are aerials in what they show.
That's
Did they
correct.
submit some sort of writing?
Yes,
Mr. Dunn?
Yes, yeah, you should have a letter from zoning.
we don't have that in front
don't
of
have
us,
anything.
Mr. Dunn, but Ms. Pissarro, can you confirm that?
I do. Where is it? A lot of emails today.
Boy, it's pouring down in Bayberry.
Not by me yet.
Oh, it's
But I'm
pouring.
up north.
My goodness, it might have gone to the trash bin. When did you sent that this morning, right, Mike?
Or yesterday. I could read the, it's just a quick note. I could read it from Dan.
Okay.
It says the subject property, 27 West Lane, maintains an in-ground pool on the northeast side of the property. On the town's dated GIS aerials, the pool may be seen clearly on 2016, 13, 10, 7, 6, 0, 1, and 1962. An outline of the pool may be seen.
All right.
That's from Dan and zoning.
And I did just find it, and it was sent yesterday morning, so.
Okay.
And Mike read it correctly.
All right.
And then Dan also scanned into his email an excerpt from the 1961 zoning ordinance,
Which says?
which says that the 18-foot was required, but
Okay.
that became that way in 1961.
Okay.
Deirdre, are you able to share those photographs that Mike sent us today? Photographs of the pool?
Chairman Pissarro, you can.
There they
run
are.
the meeting.
It's a bit of an unusual pool, not like we usually see.
We see.
Right,
it.
it's
Yes.
a very small
We
pool.
saw
It's only
those
4
already.
foot deep.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Ms. Ryan, did I ask if you wanted to be heard? I'm sorry if I did not.
No objections. It's been there,
Okay.
possibly predating the code. It's a very minimal pool.
Okay. That being said, Mr. Nicoli, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Pissarro, anyone in the audience sign up to speak?
No.
Okay, Mr. Nicoli, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to grant the application.
Is there a second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Application granted. Congratulations, Mr. Khan.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good night.
much.
Next
Have a good
application
night.
number 497-20, Eric J. Prezano, executor of the Prezano Estate, permission to leave a one-story addition 12.3 feet by 15.5 feet, having a side yard of 4.9 feet instead of the required 14 feet, Residence B District, east side of Brooklyn Boulevard, number 1385, 140 feet south of Ontario Drive, Bay Shore, New York. Is anyone here for the applicant, Ms. Pissarro?
Yes, he's here.
And who might that be?
Eric Prezano.
The applicant himself in the flesh. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Current address is 616 Arlington Drive, Seaford, New York.
All right, very good. Anything you wish to tell us about your application?
The extension on the side, it was there predating 1985 when my parents bought the house. They have since passed and brought to the house to my parents. The existing structure was built before with the, as you can see in the picture on the.
Okay, Ms. Ryan, do you wish to be heard?
There actually is a lot of precedent in the area for very small side yards. There's 4.7, 4.9, 4.87, 4.59, 4.38.
So this is right there in the sweet spot, huh?
Mhm.
All right. Any questions from the board, please? There being none, Ms. Pissarro, has anyone signed up to speak?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I just saw somebody in the as a panelist who was our last application. Sorry about that, Mr. Pollock. I had to dump you into the attendee panel. No, nobody has signed up to speak.
All right, that being said, Mr. Nicolia, keep the streak going. And I'll entertain a
Motion to grant the application.
All right, is there any
Second.
second? Thank you. Is all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none. Congratulations, Mr. Prezano. Have a good night. Next application, number 498-20, Peter Wolf, permission to erect a two-story dwelling on a lot having an area of 10,000 square feet instead of the required 11,250 square feet. Dwelling to be elevated, leaving finished first story of 11.33 feet instead of permitted 9 feet. FEMA base elevation, flood elevation 5. Residence A District, east side of West Bay Drive, number 851, 181.66 feet north of Bay 9th Street, West Islip. Ms. Pissarro, is there anyone here for the applicant?
Yes.
And who is that?
Mr. Deek, can you hear us? There we go.
Hello? Mr. Deek, we can't hear you. All right, we still can't hear you.
Hello?
There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, now this says, what am I looking at here? It says Walter
That's our survey.
Arnold. No, not on there.
Walter Arnold is an interested neighbor.
Okay, so Mr. Deek, what would you like to tell us about your application here?
We're looking to build a regular house in this neighborhood. We're short on,
Who are you, sir? The application's name in the name of Peter Wolf.
He's our lender.
he's the lender.
Does he own the property?
Yes.
Okay, so are you a contract vendee? What interest do you have in the property?
We'll be living in the house when it's finished. It's our home.
Well, not if he owns the property, it isn't.
He's the bank, basically, a private lender.
Whose name is the deed? Whose name is on the deed, sir?
Peter.
Peter Wolf.
Okay, so you're not an owner. You'll be a tenant, right?
No, the deed will be in our name when it's over.
So you're a contract vendee. Are you in contract to purchase the property?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I thought I asked
Sorry.
that. I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Nicolia. All right, go ahead, please continue. I'm sorry. If you have anything more to say.
We're just looking to build a regular house on a property. It's not unusual home. It's not big or it fits the neighborhood.
Okay, we'll be the determiner. We'll decide that.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
We never did this before, so we don't know what to do here.
I'm
Sorry.
just having a little fun. It's okay. So, Ms. Ryan, please Educate us.
There is a lot of lot areas granted for 10,000 square foot or actually
Lower.
There's 7.1, so that doesn't seem too big of an ask, and it seems kind of does blend in more with the neighborhood. The elevated finished first story, the only 3 that I was able to find was a 10.5 was granted, 13.16, which I previously mentioned that was because of the elevator that it was granted. And then there was one asking for 12.23, which was denied. So this is more than what was granted, was previously denied.
Okay, very good. Anyone from the board have any questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will you be able to keep it at, what was the precedent other than the elevator?
10.5.
Is there a reason that you have to be 11.3, sir? 11.3?
You can explain it better than I can.
I guess we can lower it that extra foot. That's all like architect talk, you know what I mean? They said because of.
They said to use a 2-car garage, and then with
Right.
the footings and the headers and the.
Right, but if you to do it at 10.5, then we won't be creating precedent. And what will happen is you don't want us to do that, because when your neighbors want to go 11.3 and then 11.5 and then 12.2, and you're going to look around and they'll see shade. So you don't you want us to keep it at a minimal height.
Sure. Whatever you say. We're happy with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I just have a question for Deirdre, and Will Barbarino may have to help me with this. Deirdre, the precedent that you're citing, do you happen to have the name of that application?
I have the application number, the ZBA number.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
509-19.
I'm sorry, what is it?
509-19.
And while Ms. Pissarro was doing that, Ms. Pissarro, you said there was an interested neighbor. Why don't we
There
let
is, he's there.
that person speak if he or she wishes?
Mr. Arnold?
Yes,
Mr. Arnold, name and address for the record, please.
854 East Bay Drive in West Islip.
All right. What would you like to say?
I would like to make sure that you give this man whatever is necessary. I have been looking at this month's property for the last 7.5 years. It looks like Herman Munster's house.
All right, very good.
And I've been looking at this thing.
I think because they're so nice and reasonable that I think you might get your wish.
Does Mr. Munster live in the town of Islip?
Yes, he does.
Something Mockingbird Lane, wasn't that?
Yeah.
1313, of course.
13,
Mr.
right.
Wexler.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Does anyone else wish to be heard?
Somebody else is here and they've just raised their hand.
Okay,
So
let them in and let them speak, please.
I'm going to do that. I'm not sure what application they're here on.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Marcus.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Doing well. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good. What application are you here to speak on, sir?
I'm here to talk about 851 West Bay Drive. I don't have the specific number. I apologize.
Okay, so you're in the right place at the right time.
Excellent.
Please, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, so I live directly next door to this house, and I second Mr. Arnold's comments in granting this man whatever he would like. This house looks absolutely horrid. My wife and I, Brittany here, we're expecting a baby in about a week.
Congratulations.
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 We appreciate that. And this house was built, I think.
You don't want to frighten the new child by the looks of the house. We understand. Thank you.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Also,
All right.
consideration is the asbestos shingles that are on this house.
Sure.
It's extremely concerning.
Right.
With our first child and such, I'm feeling all these primal instincts come about me when I look over at this house. I just want to make sure that things are done the right way here, so we don't have to be concerned about any potential adverse effects or events.
Yeah. So the main adverse impact Mr. Wexler cited to, and that was the height, and they have very reasonably agreed to reduce that so that it would be no different than other applications that have been granted by the board. So I think we're ready unless someone else wishes to be heard. Ms. Pissarro?
The case that I was thinking of that I'm just asking Deirdre if it's within 500 was 341-19, case by the name of Hargraves.
And how high was that?
I believe the board granted 12.23 by settlement after the case.
Okay. And they're looking for 11.33 here.
Deirdre, and Will, maybe you can help me with that.
I think we remember that case.
just wanted to
Ms.
be-
Pissarro. I think everyone
within
here
500
on the
feet.
board was on the board when we decided that case
Right,
as well.
and sometimes when the planning department does their research, they're not aware of things
The
that happen.
settlement, right, exactly. All right, Mr. Wexler, does that change your view on it at all?
Well, there's several schools of thought, as you know, and a settlement is not a grant by this board.
No, but
We
it's
don't
still
know the
there and
particularities.
it's still there and it's nature and character. So,
But one
again, I'm
does-
just asking
I
if
don't-
it changes your thinking. I'm not,
No, it does, and also
Okay.
one does not make a conditions of the neighborhood. I think 10.5 should be sufficient. I hate to see this area become overgrown with homes.
And I would like to just point out that when we discussed settling the Hargraves case, I specifically said that somebody in the near future is going to throw that settlement in our face and call it
Yes, you
precedent.
did.
And here we are.
We didn't expect it to be our own people.
all right. So fortunately, that's not an issue. Okay, Mr. Wexler, I'll entertain a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion that we grant so much of the application to permission to erect a two-story dwelling on lot having area of 10,000 square feet instead of required 11,250. Deny so much the application seeking a elevated finished first story at 11.33, however, grant 10.5.
Right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Application granted. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck.
Wish you all good health as well.
Now get
You
moving.
too. Thank you so much. And good luck with the baby, Marcus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right,
Take
we
care.
have one application that's on second call, if I'm not mistaken.
We have two. There's one on the first page and he just emailed me now and said he's logging on.
All right, so let's
Let's
go
just
for the
check.
first page. Was that the Lopez application?
Yes.
All right, I'll recall it. Number 483-20, June M. Lopez. Permission to erect one-story addition, 12 feet by 30 feet, leaving floor area ratio of 32% instead of permitted 25%. Residence B District, west side of Carl Drive, number 1056, 375 feet north of Runyon Street, Bay Shore, New York. Is there anyone here for the applicant? Once.
He's here. He emailed me and said he's logging on right now. So
Yes,
he's
he's not
probably
here.
going through the registration step. It takes a little longer than it did in the past. But they can do it a whole 2 days in advance.
Or not.
Yeah, works great. Where are you, Angel?
Is anyone here on the other application?
Why don't we go to the other application?
They're not here.
They're not here
No.
either.
You can read it, but I can tell you that they're not here.
Okay.
I'm
I
not
just
gonna-
want to clarify, which one was this? 483 or 485?
483, Ms. Pissarro said. Lopez.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
485.
485.
Lopez was with Charlie Broody. It's 485.
All right. So number 485-20, Darling, Medranda, and Oscar Murcia Diaz. Permission
And
to
we're-
leave two
we're waiting.
sheds.
We're waiting for Angel Aponte, who's their design professional, to log in. He's
Wow.
trying right now.
It is, let the
Hey.
record reflect, it is 7:16, 1 hour and 16 minutes after the commencement of our hearing and 1 hour and 16 minutes after when this hearing was noticed for. So it's the board's pleasure as to how patient they wish to be.
This is second call, soon to be third call. I'm going to ask that we adjourn it. I'll make that application.
There is no third call.
Second.
Thanks, fellas.
Do you need this, Ms. Pissarro? I mean,
It's more work for us. What do you care?
But he's not here.
He just
Okay.
told me, yes, so sorry, logging
He
on.
just told you over an hour after when he was supposed to be here, and he's
Uh-huh.
not here despite
That's
what he
fine.
said. Well, no,
That's fine.
because no. The discussion is, and the
That's fine.
Uh-oh.
Give him a date, please.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is adjourned. All right. There being any other business to come before the board?
You don't expect me to give you any now. Now, man.
Ms. Pissarro, we're on the record, please.
Mhm.
All right, that having been said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, application granted. We are adjourned and we are still live.